This podcast is sponsored by Elevations. Do you want to distinguish yourself from everybody else in the competition? Do you want to get the absolute best buyers in the country? Do you want to close more accounts than anybody else in the market? Well, use Elevations. Welcome to LA Legends, where we dive deep into strategies, stories, and skills that drive success in sales and leadership. My name is Michael Fisher.
And I'm Michelle Lee. Today, we're joined by someone whose story is about growth, resilience, and leadership through change. Chris Ashton, Southwest Distribution Vice President.
I'm very excited to introduce you because you are a personal mentor of mine. You are authentic. You're somebody that has helped me a ton in my career. You've also given me my job and your previous job. So,
and I can fire you.
Yeah, and you can fire me. So I'm going to be super nice. Yeah.
I'm in this position because of Chris too.
Yeah. So yeah, you've done a lot, and you're the most authentic leader that I've ever followed. This is not just going to be a fluff piece, I promise. But our goal is obviously for you to share just some of your things that have helped you become the leader that you've become. You're definitely unique in your own identity. And Michelle and I were talking about this because we both were complete failed first-year associates.
First 6 months.
First 6 months. Yeah.
Struggles there.
Yeah. So we have that in common apparently with you. Can you give us a little bit about your initial Aflac origin story?
Sure. So I started in 1996, which is before most of you were alive.
Before our producer was
I know.
born.
So that's almost
before.
Yeah, do the math quick. We're coming up on 30 years. But I started right out of college in Jefferson City, Missouri. First 6 months were not good. I was not a really hard worker. Wanted to be successful, didn't know how to. So struggled quite a bit, built myself up to earn a district promotion within about maybe 15 months. But again, I wasn't any good. I just earned a promotion.
Yeah.
So that means I got stepped down 2 months later, right? So yeah, I was not ready, right? So I've been on the Aflac elevator a few times. So associate, struggling, got good, promoted to a district, demoted to a CIT, struggled or did well for 6 months, and then got promoted back to a district. So 2 years in, I'm a DSC, and I was a really good DSC for a period of time. 1998, I got offered the opportunity to move to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as a region and a state trainer at the same time. So I took it because one thing, and I think we get through this, is I'll always bet on me, right? I'm not going to necessarily always win, but that has always been kind of who I am.
Who brought you to Pittsburgh?
Oh, Brian Patton. So Brian Patton hired me in Jefferson City, Missouri. And then he got promoted to a state sales coordinator in Pennsylvania West. And I had the opportunity to go with him. So then I'm a state trainer, was one of the first 5 or 6 state trainers in the country when that first started out. So I've always had a trainer's heart. And I believe that because I wasn't trained. And so then I committed to actually training, but through process and actual development. So we can dig into that. But then I was also a RSC at the same time, which is a little challenging.
I thought that was, so I had the opportunity to go with you to Pittsburgh this year and meet Brian, which was awesome. What was like the first 6 months like? What was the build? Because I know a lot of people out there, like the build is something that we always, like when you're in it, it's hyper painful and really tough. But when you look back at it, it's some of our best moments. But what was that like for you?
I think you got to understand what Pennsylvania West was. So at that point in time, when Brian got promoted, we went to Pittsburgh specifically. He had a couple different choices, but he chose it because that was one of 2 places in the country that Colonial had a bigger market share. The entire state of Pennsylvania West was 6.8 million, which is nothing. And then so when I left in 2006, it was over 40 million, right? Wow. So there was tremendous growth there. And there's a whole lot to that story that we can unpack if you want to, but basically, we saw from the beginning, we built it up. There was no process. There was no nothing. The bulk of the business was written direct. So they were selling direct to people's homes. So I was the first RSC in downtown Pittsburgh, so where the big buildings are. Built it up as a 26-year-old kid that wanted the world, didn't exactly know how to get it. So we just went to work. Built and grew and had fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh is very, very close to my heart, for sure.
Any like moments that you kind of look back at during that time where you're like, okay, that was when you made a huge pivot or change that like, helped define, where you guys ended up?
Yeah. And I thought about, I assumed you're going to ask me this question. So I'm going to be real. All right. So I am authentic. I am real. Yeah. All right. So as I was failing miserably in life and struggling with real life and Aflac, right? And those are 2 different things. And they affect each other though. I had a moment where it was time to either commit fully, completely, or quit. I just got real and faith-based. Faith is important to me. I don't talk about it much, but I got to a point where I just got real, said some prayers, and it was either I'm in or I'm out. And I chose to stay in. I felt it was the right thing. And I went in with a different approach. It used to be just going out and making money. And it became inspiring people to be better than they are. And so
Nice.
just kind of redefine success. If you hear me talk ever, you got to just define success, know what you're working for, or to make a plan, share the plan and go get it. I did it for myself. Right. I identified what I truly wanted, and it wasn't just quota. It wasn't just bonus. It wasn't fame or whatever the Affleck goal was at the time. It became deeper than that. And when I owned that part of me, Affleck was a vehicle to get me where I was going. And it really made a big difference. Then I could make a difference in people's lives, which has motivated me more. I'm fulfilled by helping people get where they want to go. That mission started early on in Pittsburgh, and we're still on it now.
Struggling to connect with business owners? The Site Seller gives you the facts, talking points, and solutions you need right at your fingertips. Build trust, show value, and close deals with confidence. Site Seller, where conversations turn into partnerships.
So I'm trying to remember, 'cause there's a couple different turning points. I don't remember exactly when it was, but you were a district that was mainly, I think, an enrollment firm, essentially, at the end of the day.
No. So, okay. So here,
I'm trying to
I was in
remember my
Pittsburgh
spots.
for 8 years, and
Yeah.
it was an eventful 8 years. So market trainer or state trainer and an RSC trainer for 2 years, and I dropped that piece, focus on a region. We were top 5 region in the country several times. So it was a successful region. But I got burnt out. I got burnt out doing the wrong things, and I didn't feel like what I was doing was fulfilling. So we were at a baseball game one time, and Patton was yelling at me about recruiting numbers, and I was like, I'm done. I'm out. Feel it. So I'm gonna go be a district. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna do it my way. So leave me alone. Let me do this. And that was in October, or that was in September. October 1, I started, and we made President's Clubs at DSC that year in 3 months. Now we cherry picked the accounts in the region, but we did what we wanted to do, right? So we built it from nothing, and we did good. And in 2 years, we became the biggest district in the history of Affleck. Got the biggest bonus. People talk about that, but it's been 20 years ago. The point, though, is that from that change came a lot of success for me, but for others too. And that's where there's been multiple market directors that came out of that district, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah. What were some of the market directors that came from that?
Ethan Reif, who's now a DVP, Jimmy Seifert, who was in Kentucky for a long period of time, and Evan Gerson, who was in Chicago, and then still extremely successful. So
Yeah.
we did pretty good.
It's awesome.
And also my office that I opened at that point in time is now the RSC is still in it in
That's
Pittsburgh right now.
Awesome.
And she just took over the market as well. So Kaylee. Yeah. I didn't hire Kaylee, but she came from that lineage too. So there's a long line of success. And it's not just me. It's Brian. It's BPA. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, a lot has come out of
Sure.
one team out of St. Louis, Missouri, or just Missouri altogether, that we've seen through, especially at our hub meeting. We saw quite a few of those, and just like the people coming out that are market directors today, it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, you saw with like Mira, he was actually, he was emotional talking about it. I mean, it's what came from Missouri that was pretty special. I heard some pretty funny ones in the past, but I just wanted to ask you really quickly on hiring, and you've hired some pretty insane. It's pretty insane who you've hired and who you have mentored. But do you have a favorite person that you? What was that? You. Yo, thank you. What's I don't know. Let's start with like maybe Alex. Like, who was he when you actually like hired?
Alex and I went to the same college. Well, I was at RSC in Columbia, Missouri, small town in middle Missouri. Alex comes in as an arrogant Sigma Chi. I was in a different fraternity. We hated the Sigma Chi's. And so when he comes in, he's all nervous and skittish. And I mean, he's kind of like Alex, only 22 years old. And so I took his resume and just threw it on the floor. And like, if you're a Sigma Chi, you're not welcome here.
Nice.
And he completely turned red and just started freaking out and selling his way back into it, not just messing with him. So hired him. He is hyper. He is extremely successful. I mean, he's talented, but crazy. Right.
Yeah.
And so just kind of harnessing that, focusing him in the right direction. Alex is one of my best friends, and he's killing it. He's been a market director in Texas North, so out of Dallas for 8 or 9 years. And he'll go on to amazing things in this company and in life. He's a phenomenal dad and husband. And so when I met him, he was a crazy college kid. So he's grown. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to watch.
Not much has changed.
Yeah.
Experience. Attracting and keeping the best talent means offering more than just a paycheck. Aflac Value Added Services delivers real-life support for your team. Financial wellness through BrightDime provides employees with the real-time, holistic financial picture to help improve spending habits, create budgets, and tackle debt reduction. Employees can keep track of all financial accounts so they can set goals and track progress towards establishing financial security. Aflac Value Added Services, because supporting your team means supporting their whole well-being. Let's actually focus a little bit on leadership in itself. I think through the almost 30 years of different positions up and down the elevator, what are some of the pivots that you've had to do, coming into the VP position you're in today? I know it's a long span, but
yeah, that's a general question. So I would say, we talked about Pittsburgh. We were very successful in Pittsburgh, but I was Brian Patton's guy, right? So I wanted to continue to move up the chain, and I wanted to be a state sales coordinator at the time. And I was completely overlooked all the time because I was always just Brian's guy. And when I hit my 10-year mark, I left. And I told Pat, we planned for it for about 6 months, but I told him I'm going back to Missouri and start over. And I did that because, again, I will always bet on myself, but my definition of success didn't align with where we were going. They're making lots of money and doing amazing things from an Aflac perspective. But I think it's important for us to realize that there is things outside of Aflac. Like my mom still doesn't understand what a DSC, or RSC, or DVP is. She has no idea, right? And so, when I how do you define success internally versus reality? And so went back to Missouri and started over. That was a big one. State trainer again for a year or two. Took a scratch region in Columbia, Missouri, and built that back up. And that's where I hired Alex eventually. So we took a wasteland and built it into a President's Club for a couple of years because of people. We're just building and growing people the right way. And so that was a big one.
I think one of the most vivid stories that I remember just working with you was when you decide, you know what, we're just going to recalibrate our district, and I'm going to take the people that want to grow with the basics again.
Yeah.
And January, if you want to be part of this team to drive, I think, opening new accounts and hitting and winning it, the way we know we can, in January, you're going to show up to this meeting. And how many people showed up to that meeting with you?
So had a bunch of people. It was basically enrolling big accounts that Brian and I had closed, and they changed the rules for DSC bonus. The only way we're going to succeed next year is actually if we have to go out and open accounts and go to that version of T-Nana, basically. We were not positioned properly at all. So I had a great idea. Let's focus on it. We're all going back to sales school. We're going to open accounts. And I told them all that at the business planning meeting. So last meeting in December that year, they come back for kickoff, but be real. Let's be serious, and we're going to go to work. And so we started the meeting, and quota was $2.2 million, which this is like early 2000s.
Yeah.
That was a big number. It's still a big number today, but it was really big then. And we had 3 people show up. It was me and 2 others to my kickoff meeting to go get $2.5 million. And 2 of those people, though, were Jimmy Seifert and Ethan Reif, who turned out to be pretty successful. And we basically, I didn't cave, right? That was a turning point for sure, is that we knew it was right. We focused on it, we made the decision, stuck with it. So we went cold calling. We went out and opened a bunch of accounts, and we opened a bunch of accounts in January, and it was me and Jimmy and Ethan doing it together. And then we added to it. We got some new recruits in. And before long, some of the veterans started coming back around, and we made fame. We went 4 for 4 and set the biggest bonus in the history of Aflac that year. But it started with a decision in that December.
That's so awesome.
No, that's that pivot that, we've talked through a lot of times with other people, that if you just make that decision, and we said this on our last podcast, betting on yourself, it is a real thing when you make that decision and actually go and execute that plan.
Yeah.
Which is pretty phenomenal to see.
It's not about ego, though. It's not about making a decision. I know I'm right. I change my mind hourly, daily.
Yes.
People that work with me get frustrated because we will pivot quickly. But we knew what was right. We knew where we had to get to. We knew what we were doing was not going to lead to success in the future. I mean, what got us here will probably not get us there tomorrow, right? And so we got to be able to be willing to be flexible and adjust. And so we had to, but we knew that was the right call, and we went and did it and executed. But again, I led that one from the front. The takeaway is strategy, communication, discipline, with it, but also leading from the front. If I would have sat back and told everybody to go to sales school, told everybody to go call, we would have failed miserably.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be talking to me right now. But I led it myself and showed them we could do it. And then we built belief, and it all goes back to belief.
How many accounts did you guys end up closing that year? It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It's been 20. It was a lot, a couple hundred.
Yeah. What was the bonus?
$275,000 as a DSC bonus, which was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, we ended at 4.1 million or so. Which again, before Aflac Group was a thing, that was all Aflac traditional.
Yeah.
So that was a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But you did that in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a great story in itself. Like the capabilities that if you set your mind to walk the walk.
Yeah.
And we talk about it in the marketplace today of 300%. Like, why sit and just, be okay at minimum? Why not strive for that 300%? That's just showing people you can get it done.
Yeah. No, I think also it doesn't take forever. I mean, a lot of times like people will like plan to plan. And then it's like, oh yeah, no, you.
Yeah.
No.
Real quick.
You had 3 people in January and you're like, let's go. Let's do this. Yeah.
And we weren't a scratch organization, right? We had talent. We had a book of business. Not every account was huge, but what we had was broker relationships that we'd built over time. And so the partnership between when I built, it became distribution, right? So I built an army of people capable of opening accounts of our own. We did it right because we had practices and systems for everything. We opened an account. We did it right. We did post our own reports, everything I talk about all the time. But we did it on a 14 life case so that we could do it on a 1,000 life case. And we did it a lot. And then Q4 comes around and we were just crazy good.
Yeah.
You're already set up, ready to go.
Rolling.
That's awesome.
And the brokers want in at that point.
Start your week strong with the Monday morning meeting. Tune in for team accolades that celebrate success, contests that keep you motivated, and announcements that keep you ahead. Don't just start your Monday, own it with the Monday morning meeting.
You talked about how you have been overlooked in the past, but now you're the distribution vice president. It's funny, my mom actually does not know what I do or what you do. She was like, sounds like a Costco title. Like, did Chris is working at Costco now as a distribution. I was like, it was like, is that a Kirkland thing? Anyway, so, but the crazy part about you is that it's never your story. You always make it about your team and the people that you're leading. I want you to talk a little bit through the actual practical side of that, because, you're actually really, really good at making you, and you've done this with me, of making your people that you lead the heroes. So how do you think about it? How do you approach it? What's some of your philosophy there?
Well, I appreciate that a lot. I try for that. Humility, right? So pride comes before the fall, right? And I know this because I fell. And so pride, I am prideful, right? And so when you think you've got it all worked out, you know how to do it yourself, you will reach your limit.
Yeah.
And I've been humbled. God has humbled me in a lot of different times. And so I know that I can do it myself. Right. And so I always try to make it about the team and about other people, because it's the only way to actually get where we need to go, where we need to be. And so to be out there, well, here, I'll tell you, I'll be real. You know, I always go to. So authenticity and transparency are kind of how I live my life. And that was basically a learned behavior because I didn't used to be that way. Right. I ran my life in the ground. I got divorced. I had to go to therapy. I had to go to this all stuff and fix me before I could be a better husband, father, leader, and husband, father come before being a better leader. If I'm a better person, I'm a better leader. And so, as I've learned to live life with humility, it's made me a better leader. And that way you can live with, or you can work with, I guess, transparency and authenticity. And that's what is attractive to people. I was thinking about this, and I knew you were going to ask me some version of that. But there was and by the way, he gave me no questions and no planning. But there was a moment, old submarine movie. Matthew McConaughey's on a submarine, U-571. I don't know if you remember this movie.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, he's a submarine captain.
Back when he was action. Yeah.
And so the captain, he was number 2 in charge. Captain got whacked. He's now in charge. He's scared to know what to do. He says to his men, I don't know what to do. Harvey Keitel, who is the chief, tells at him, don't ever say that in front of your people. Don't show vulnerability. They have to know you know what you're talking about. Well, I thought that was leadership. Like, that was a good analogy of where I thought leadership was when I was in Pittsburgh, and I'm invincible. I know everything, and just follow me. I got this, which was fine to a point, but that's not life or death. Aflac is not life or death.
Yeah.
Right. In a submarine captain in World War II, that's probably the way you should go. It's not, I learned in life that that's not how we need to be. And so showing vulnerability, building consensus, hiring good people, teaching them to be great at Aflac, motivating them, inspiring them to be better than they were, and then trusting them is how I built consensus and build teams. And so it's not just me. It's the people that we build to grow. But within that team is also high expectations. So to get to be in the cool kid club, you're going to have to go to work.
Yeah. No, but I think that to underline that, like it's exhausting trying to be somebody else or pretending that you know everything. And when you're having to live that life, that's tough. It's exhausting. I've made that mistake. I'll definitely make that mistake again. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
We're human beings at the end of the day. So,
yeah. But, you know, you've actually shown me that a million times too as a leader, which is like, you'll be like, oh yeah, I was wrong about that. And I was like, cool. And then also when you tell me I'm wrong, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's coming from a place
We're not
of
going to be
authenticity.
perfect.
Yeah.
We're not going to be perfect. Nobody is perfect, and we never will be. So if we strive for perfection, you're going to fail miserably. And if you're going to keep up the facade that you are perfect, nobody else believes that.
Yeah.
And so when we just accept that fact, I think you can go a lot further building followers.
Yeah, I agree.
You ready for some rapid fire?
Yeah. This is our favorite part, just doing rapid, if you can't tell. Do you want to kick us off? So these are going to be rapid fire, quick questions.
Quick responses.
Quick responses.
Okay. So what is $100 to $300 purchase that you've had this year that's most improved your work life?
My third set of AirPods. I actually carry, but not the fact that Mikey keeps losing his. 2 phones and an iPad and a watch, and I have AirPods connected to each one of them with all the meetings from Aflac in the DVP. So it's helped me a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
That's smart. It's
Stupid.
having multiple.
It's absolutely stupid.
No, I mean, I doubled down, and that's why I just kept on losing more. That's yeah. So I'm glad that's working out for you, and I'm a wired guy now. So
And
when I saw you with
yeah.
your wires is why I went and bought the second pair.
yeah.
But he also misplaces those. Too.
I also decided to buy more of those. Cool. Okay, so this is a new one. So what is something you believe that other people think is absolutely insane?
Something that I believe.
Yeah,
that
you
other
just
people-
believe that other people are like, that's
That the
absolutely.
Oklahoma Sooners are going to win the national championship this year.
That's just wrong.
Well, you said it. That people think is insane. So.
Yeah. Yeah, there's insane and then wrong. So that's but yeah.
That we will hit $11.8 million in weeks 37, 38,
Yeah,
and 39. Yeah. Actually, 38, 39.
I like that.
I like that.
Okay. So this is another rapid fire one. What do you do? What's your first 30 minutes like every single day? Work day, family.
So I get up. Now I'm up early, but I make breakfast for everybody. I make lunches as often as I can, and get them out the door. Sometimes I even walk my 8-year-old to school.
That's awesome.
Usually I'm on the phone while I'm doing it, but I try to make time to make sure that I'm dad, and then I'm a better leader.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Very grounding.
I was
To
at
lead the family
5:30
first.
this morning. I was making pancakes.
Nice. Homemade or
No, well, out of the box.
yeah,
Can't-
he's
I mean,
so
out of the box.
I put it.
Hey.
I mixed it with water. Put it in still.
That's impressive. No, that's
Kids
good.
were excited when they got up.
Yeah. All right. You're gonna do the billboard.
Okay. So the main freeway you drive up is the 405 or 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
405.
So if you had a billboard along the highway and you can have one thing that's yours, right? And you want everybody on the 405 to see it, what would that statement be?
Define success in your terms and go get it.
How did I know that was what it was? I
Yeah.
swear that's the same message that we've been delivering
He's
when
consistent.
we worked together.
It is.
It's-
But it's authentic. You just
Yeah.
define success. It's going to be different, right? Outside of Aflac, we got lots of trophies and lots of stuff with Aflac that they give us all the time, right? None of those have ever meant anything to me. The trophies that I have are the people, right? And so Ethan and Jimmy and Alex, we talked about them. But there's a whole lot of other ones that have been successful in other areas of life that I know for a fact were impacted and inspired because of us and the way we go about our business.
Yeah.
And so those are trophies. And so that's really what drives me.
One of the key terms I've definitely taken from you is that Aflac is that vehicle to help
It's an amazing
drive
vehicle.
everything else that you're looking for to build in your life outside of work. But Aflac is going to be that vehicle to get you there. And I use that in sales school
Yeah.
quite often today. So
Yeah.
No, it is. And honestly, I'll just say this as we're wrapping up. To see what happened in Missouri, the market directors and, our director of sales even coming from there, and your hand in that, and then obviously you doing it in Pittsburgh. And I genuinely believe California, we're doing that exact same thing. People walking through our sales school and some of our new leaders, and actually some of our veteran leaders, I think that they're going to be running this company.
Missouri was not me though, right? So I was part of a team. Ron Kirkland went and opened Missouri. So this is actually, the story of Missouri is crazy, but Ron Kirkland opens it. Brian Patton takes Pittsburgh. Brian's so successful in so many different ways. I got to learn and grow from it, go back to Missouri, start over, and then come out to California. So when I was offered the opportunity to come to California to be a market director, I was the 5th market director in 5 years. So there was not a legacy of success, at least recently, but there was a history of success. There's so many good people. There's so much talent here. They just need to process, and there's so much opportunity. So I took a big jump leaving from Missouri on the sales manager role, where I was running the broker channel for the mid part of the country, to move here to California. Not very many people move from Missouri to California. My wife, Whitney, and I, we decided we want to just continue this adventure. And so we came to LA, but there's been a lot of success from that. So yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah.
Nate actually made a comment at our market trainer conference earlier this year. And he's like, market team, market director, trainer, coordinators, our job is to remove roadblocks for our RSCs and our DSCs. Yeah. I think you come into California and having those authentic conversations and being yourself, and this is where we're trying to go. But my goal is, how do you define your definition of success, and where do you want to go? And let's work together to get there. That hand-in-hand partnership. So, Chris, thank you so much for being real about your journey, the ups and downs, and recognizing that you have to pivot when something doesn't feel right. More importantly, that authenticity is still the heartbeat of leadership today, and we get that from you every single day. This has been the LA Legends. Subscribe, share, join us next time as we keep building our next generation of leaders. Until then, lead with purpose.